Hello, statistical scholars, and welcome to another adventure with Minitab Express. I think this is the first one, so I can't really say another one. Oops. Uh, so if you've been following along at home and doing things in Minitab 17, you'll notice that my Minitab Express window, I'm going to do the exact, it looks exactly the same right now as the Minitab 17, except for a little bit different. So usually when you open Minitab Express for the first time, it has this navigation bar. We're not really going to use this bar, so if you want to, you can go ahead and click on that in the Home tab, and that'll prevent you from ever having to see that because we never use it in this class. Now it looks identical to Minitab 17, so we have the session window above and the worksheet full of data down below, which is nice. Minitab Express looks a lot like Minitab 17, except for some of its windows are slightly different as you go along through it. So today we're going to be focusing on chapter 2. So we're going to go through how to create a frequency table, a relative frequency table, and then we're going to go through how to do some different charts. I'm going to do a couple different bar charts and a couple different pie charts. And then I'm going to show you how to do a cross tabulation table with different percentages along with it. Now, most of what we're going to be doing with Minitab 17 is going to be using the statistics and the graph button. Occasionally we'll use the data button, but more often than not we're going to be using these two. So I'm going to go ahead and hit on the statistics tab, and I'm going to create a just a frequency table of the level of education variable, which is one of our categorical variables. There's a second one in here for smoking status, but I'm just going to do this one for now. So in order to do this, we're going to go up to tally. So again, I'm making a frequency table. And I'm going to put in level of education in here. And there's these options in here to do different things. So counts is just going to give me the number for each category in the categorical variable. So number of high school, number of masters, number of bachelors, number of PhD, and so forth. If you want, you can check the percentage box as well, and it'll give you the percent as well as the count. And I'm going to do that so you can see how that looks. And then you can also do cumulative for counts and percentages. And this means as it goes down the category, it accumulates, so it counts up the ones before it as well. I tend to not use these because they tend to be a little bit confusing for the reader. Let's go ahead and hit OK. So notice it's giving you two things, both the count and the percent. If you wanted just one of these, you would normally do that by just checking only one box, obviously. Yay. And this percent is out of the total. Notice this gives you this n equals 40 at the bottom. It tells you the number of individuals that we had in our data set, which matches what we had down here. Notice that this only goes up to 40. All right. You know, there's your frequency table. And then the percent given here gives you your relative frequency. So remember, relative frequency is percent out of total. So we have both in one. I did that quicker than I expected. Woohoo! All right, let's make a bar chart next to sort of graph what we're seeing here so that we can visually interpret what we see. So in order to do that, we're going to hit the graph button, and then we're going to choose bar chart. There we go. And then you have a couple different options. You can use summarized data, so stuff that's already placed here. You can use some sort of function, or I'm always going to end up using counts of unique variables, and I'm going to start with doing a simple one for right now. So I'm going to do a simple one of just level of education and hit OK. So this is just going to give me a graph that represents exactly what we just accounted for. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger so you can see it. There we go. One nice thing about this interaction with this environment is you can just left click on this and copy your graph. Sorry, not left click, right click. And hit copy, and then you can copy and paste this into your notes or your document that you're working in for your Minitab assignment, which is kind of nice. Your Word document, I mean. Another nice feature that Minitab Express has that Minitab also has, that if you're not sure how tall these are, so your tick marks aren't as frequent as you might need, you can just leave your mouse hovered over top of it to get the exact value that the bars are individually. This does not copy over into the Word document, just so you know. It's kind of a nice feature. Okay. So I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to change some of my options. We go to simple. Oh crap. I mean, oh darn. Instead, I'm going to make a little bit more complicated one. There's a lot more options you have in regular Minitab than you have in Minitab Express. So for instance, if you watch the Minitab video for 17, you don't really have any, you don't have any of the labeling options you do here. You just have like put in a variable and that's it. Let's make a pie chart too for fun. So I'll do level of education again because that's how we go. Yay! And I'm getting an email. That's great. I notice that Minitab automatically labels the percentages for you and color codes everything nicely so that you know which group is which, or if you leave it hovering over, it lists the category for you as well as the percentage. And this also can be copied and pasted into a document, which is nice. Alrighty, so this automatically chooses to show it as a percent, and whereas Minitab 17 you can choose to show it as a percent or a count. Alright. So that's some single variable stuff you can do on Minitab Express. Let's do some dueling variable stuff. So I want to look at how a level of education is related to your smoking status. So I want to look at these together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a cross-tabulation or contingency table to investigate those. So we're going to go to the statistics button, and I'm going to go to cross-tabulation or chi-square. I'm going to move this up a little, sorry. And I'm going to put in my rows as level of education and then my columns as smoking status. And then I'm going to hit the display button to make some different choices. So I want to do, so what this is going to do is it's going to show up with your rows going across as level of education, and then going down are going to be your smoking status entries. And then I want to make this also display overall percent totals. So this is going to give me percentages for all the groupings across the total number of responses. So dividing by 40 for the total number of responses. You can also do rows or column percents if you want, but I'll just do total for now. Let's hit OK. So how this outputs is a little interesting. As you look at each of these cells, notice there's two numbers for where like no and bachelor intersects. And then down here it gives you a key for the cell content. So it tells you that that top number is the count and the bottom number is the percent total. So it arranges this in a sort of interesting way. This looks a lot like a little bunched in together, but it gives you an idea of what's happening. So like there are 15 people that have a bachelor's degree and do not smoke. And that's 37.5% of all 40 that we see. And the same thing, you can look at yes with a bachelor's, and that's 5% of all total people. Yay! The other thing you can do on this is if you look down here at the all column that shows up, that's the same as the total column that we saw in the notes. These are going to give you the marginal distribution. So the marginal distribution for smoking status is right here, 72.5 and 77.5. And then the marginal distribution for education is down this column right here on this margin. Similarly, you can also do counts for the conditional distribution. However, since I did total percentages and nothing else, I can't do any conditionals off of this. If I had done row or column percent, I could have done conditionals off of this. Yay. So remember, when you look at these boxes, these 6 individuals represent 6 people that said high school education, and yes, both of them. So it's like getting 2 values for the variable. Let's look at a way to visualize this. So let's build some graphs with these 2 variables. So I want to first create a bar chart that is a little more complicated. I'm going to do a clustered one. So I need my 2 categorical variables in here. So I'm going to do level of education and smoking status together. And I'm going to show you 2 different versions of this. Sorry, I just hit the mic. I'll hit OK. And so notice that it groups this by yeses and nos. And normally it will color code this, for some reason it's not this time. Woohoo! But notice that it's grouped by education level and giving you yeses and nos for the columns. So it's a clustered bar chart. Minitab Express will not do stacked bar charts like Minitab 17 will. We also can do this the other way. So I'm going to go back and do clustered. And this time, for funds, I'm going to do smoking status first and level of education second. And you'll see how this organizes the graph a little bit differently. So now notice it does no as my group, and then within each of those categories for education, and then yes grouped together, and then each education level presented. So this is kind of interesting because you notice the education level appears to have a different effect, or they appear to have different distributions, whereas on the previous graph, my previous graph is gone. Darn it, I wanted to compare them. Oh well. It wasn't so easy to tell what the distribution might look like for smoking status for each education level. Alright, so that's how you do the grouped or clustered bar charts. And that's about all we have today. So I hope you enjoyed using Minitab Express, because it's definitely quicker than using 17. Good times.